So what exactly is the deal with NFTs? Are we talking about art or are we talking about pure speculation? And what does whatever the answer to those questions are have to do with retromodernism? First things first, unless you've been scratching the back of a cave for an undiscovered Banksy over the last few months, you cannot possibly have missed a couple of the digital headlines of the century regarding the sale of digital art for mind-boggling sums. Lot number one, the very first tweet sent out by Twitter inventor and CEO Jack Dorsey 15 years ago, was snapped up for a tidy $2.9 million. The anonymous buyer then tweeted, "This is not just a tweet. I think years later people will realise the true value of this tweet, like the Mona Lisa painting." The fact that the buyer actually had to qualify that the Mona Lisa is a painting tells me A, something about the buyer, and B, possibly about his Twitter followers. Lot number two. In February 2021, a GIF animation of a cat crossed with a Pop-Tart called Nyan Cat was sold online by its creator, 35-year-old Texan Christopher Torres. Again, the cat had a history and a pedigree going back 10 years, but that said, for $587,000 or 300 Ether, which is what somebody paid for it, and not even for the original Nyan Cat, you could have bagged yourself a signed print of Andy Warhol's Red Flowers, an original print of an untitled Keith Haring Ghetto Blaster design, or a work by the iconic photomontage artist Barbara Kruger. And therein lies the dilemma with crypto art. Now, would you personally rather buy into a tangible asset in a relatively stable market, or take a $500,000 bet on a non-fungible token that guarantees no specific ownership or control over the usage of the original artwork? Artwork, if you're happy to call it art, which is another question mark. Now, lot number three, and this really is the motherlode, Every Days, the first 5,000 days, is the name of a digital work created by 40-year-old graphic artist Mike Winklemann, aka Beeple. It's effectively a collage of 5,000 digital images created by Beeple, which was sold at auction through Christie's for, wait for it, $69.8 million. There's been debate over what is and what isn't art, and that's raged on really forever and a day. Philosophers like Aristotle and Immanuel Kant have waded in. Art experts around the world have found all manner of ways to justify and glorify a bizarre and varied range of objects and concepts. Venus of Willendorf? Art or powerful religious relic? Carl Andrés equivalent number 8? Art or a pile of bricks that actually sparked outrage when the Tate Gallery in London bought it in 1976? Piero Manzoni's doo-doo? Art or just a tin of it? And Maurizio Cattelan's 2019 Comedian? Art or a banana taped to a wall? Seems to me that wherever there's a market, there's a way to package and sell almost any ideas as art. In the 60s and 70s, conceptual art replaced paintings and sculptures with ideas that couldn't be bought or sold because they were purely intellectual. Joseph Kossuth's 1965 work, 1 and 3 Chairs, is an example of how words to describe art actually became more important than the physical art itself. If you had any lingering doubt about the artistic merit of some, but not all of the work offered in NFT form, here's a piece by one of our go-to retromodernist artists, Magnus Gjoen. It's called "There is Strong Shadow Where There Is Much Light." Now, the work is available on a platform called Foundation, and I'll put a link in the description below to Foundation. They're a sleek, purpose-built website where creators are empowered to mint their own work on the blockchain, then selling it using cryptocurrency. In the case of Magnus's work, A reserve price has been set of 1 ether, that's about $2,000, a little bit more, and once the first bid has been placed and the reserve price has been met, then a 24-hour auction sets off, and that'll decide who wins the spoils, or the non-fungible token. A non-fungible token is a unit of data. It's something that's stored in a digital ledger, or the blockchain, and it represents a unique digital item, like art. Some artists do create physical assets to go with the purchase. Beeple is actually a good example, and he's very good at doing that. And, well, his sales have been absolutely astronomical as a result. A fucking shitload of money, as Mike Winkleman articulately put it. Well, with the virtual ching-ching of the cash registers ringing in many digital artists' ears, there's obviously been a tsunami of people trying to upload anything and everything, hoping to cash in. Foundation, which was founded by CEO Keyvon Tehranian, and there's a great art world name if ever there was one, appears to offer a uniformly excellent level of work and a system of access, which is exclusively by the invitation of your peers. Magnus Gjoen I know as an extraordinarily talented artist, an aesthete, and a deep thinker. Everything, in fact, you could hope for in an artist you were considering investing in, even if your motivations were a pure investment rather than a love of art. There is a strong shadow where there is much light is accompanied on Magnus's page by a delicious quote from Oscar Wilde.
There were opium dens where one could buy oblivion, dens of horror where the memory of old sins could be destroyed by the madness of sins that were new.
Now, there's no question of the artistic merit of a great deal of the work that I've seen. My only concern is that, well, it's one of the points that's made by the excellent financial tech observer Amy Castor, and that is that this is an artificial market created by insiders of the crypto world. They have every interest to keep the prices sky high. There's no real intrinsic value to an NFT, she says. The value is all speculative. In fact, the person who paid just shy of $70 million for Beeple's Everydays under the pseudonym of Keyvon turned out to be a crypto entrepreneur by the name of Vignesh Sundaresan. And he just pipped another blockchain billionaire, Tron founder Justin Sun, at a Christie's auction. Now, from an artist's point of view, you probably have very little to lose. From an investor's point of view, who knows? Would I pay millions for a piece of code tied to a digital image? Probably not. If I liked the art, I might be tempted to pay market rate, and then possibly if the value of that artist's stock soars, I'd be quids in. But the art, for me, comes before the dream of limitless riches. Just the point of view. As is the retromodernist viewpoint, and there are clear and obvious connections, certainly with work of Magnus Gjoen, which has been subject of previous videos, but also many others. Take, for example, live action and animation film director Martin Pick. His painterly style, which has been used in critically acclaimed movies like Coup 53, not only confirms his credentials as an artist, but also makes his back catalogue of extraordinary work a potential goldmine for him. So there's some food for thought. I'd love to know what you think on the whole issue of NFTs, the artistic merit and the crazy money. Drop a comment into the space below and, become part of the conversation. As always, please show your support for this video by subscribing or liking if you haven't already. I'll be back soon with another insight and another retromodernism timeline, but in the meantime, take it easy, stay safe and stay curious. See you soon.